What was involved when God said, "Let there be light"? Well, let's start from the beginning. Genesis 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Now, what all is involved when God said, "Let there be light"? Before there was light, the picture we get of the creation is that the earth had no form, no shape, was completely useless, and was dark. Now basically what existed, at least in the material part of the universe that God had made, now in the heavens, I'm sure this was not the case, but in the earth what existed was a formless, shapeless chaos. Now, the first thing God had to do before he could create anything else was create some kind of order in the universe, to bring order out of this chaos. That's the way the Sumerians put it, the way the Babylonians put it, that their gods, of course their gods were wrong gods, but their gods brought order out of the chaos. So by order, in other words, we mean that matter had the ability to interact with other matter. Now let's take a look at what we know about light. Well, first of all, is light a particle or a wave? Well, I'm not going to debate that. It does not matter. What we know about light, though, is it is electromagnetic. Electromagnetism is one of the four forces that we know make up the universe. These four forces being electromagnetism, the strong subatomic force, the weak subatomic force, and gravity. Without these forces to hold the universe together and to enable matter to interact with other matter, the universe is nothing but a formless, shapeless blob. So when God said, "Let there be light," it meant he had made electricity, he had made magnetism. Yes, let there be light. Without electricity, without magnetism, in other words, without the forces, there would have been nothing but chaos still. And without matter being able to interact with other matter, well, God could not have proceeded to create plants, to create animals, and to create humans, and ultimately human beings could not make machinery. We'd have no radio, no telephones, no telegraphs, no electricity, because we need these things. So God made them for us, but also God needed them in order to finish his work of creation. In other words, all the ancients believed that light came before the luminous bodies. In other words, light came before the sun. If God had made the sun first, before he made light, the sun would have been just another formless, shapeless blob in the universe, without the ability to interact with the earth in any way, because matter would not have had the ability to interact with other matter. But matter can create pushes and pulls. That's what the word force means. The word force means a push or a pull of one particle of matter on another. So we have this push or pull, and we now know, we've recently discovered that gravity consists of waves, even as light consists of waves. Notice when God said, "Let there be light," he made the whole electromagnetic spectrum. Now when he divided the light from the darkness, that could be interpreted to mean, now this is purely speculative, you understand, and we don't know for sure, but that could mean that God divided the whole electromagnetic spectrum. In other words, in addition to light, there's ultraviolet light, there's infrared light, there are X-rays, there are gamma rays, there are radio waves. There's just the entire electromagnetic spectrum, which must be in order for there to be any kind of order in the universe at all. So God divided the electromagnetic spectrum, and each frequency in the spectrum has its own unique characteristics. But then some waves can interact with other matter and produce a whole lot of heat. Some interact and don't produce very much heat. But all electromagnetic radiation interacts with matter, the matter around it, up to trillions upon trillions of miles away, perhaps all the way around the entire universe. So when God created the light, He next was in a position to create plants, animals, a firmament, and eventually the sun, the moon, the stars, all of which had to wait until God had first created the light. So when God spoke and said, "Let there be light," He was organizing the world He had already created. And I believe that when He said, "Let there be light," this included gravity. If gravity is electromagnetic, now this has not yet been proven, but I believe that all of a sudden, the earth that He'd created, it was a shapeless, formless mass, all of a sudden coalesced into a round sphere that we know today. Because now there was gravity. Matter could interact with other matter. Matter could exert pushes and pulls on other matter. So the gravity that was part of the electromagnetic spectrum also, again, I'm only speculating, but this might very well be so. All of a sudden, the earth became spherical, or became round. And all of a sudden, again, it was now possible to create, well, machinery, plants, animals, and eventually someday man would learn to use this electromagnetic spectrum to talk to each other by means of radio, by means of television, by means of telephone. All this came about when God spoke and said, "Let there be light." The matter that God had created was now organized so that it could be used to form other matter. Matter could now become molecules, or let's say, put it this way, atoms could now form into molecules. Molecules could stick together and form compounds. Before God had said, "Let there be light," this appears to have been impossible. But now matter could form into compounds. These compounds could hold a definite shape, could have a form. So there was now some order in the universe. There was eventually become even more order, but this was the beginning of order in the universe. It all began when God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Or, "Let there be order," or let matter have the ability to exert a push or a pull on other matter. Let there be organization. And there was organization. There was the ability to push and pull on other matter. And this situation was set up to where God could continue to go on and eventually create mankind.